Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night, good day to you. That's depending where you are in the world. So I'm here live in London doing our nighttime devotion from the devotional Conflict and Courage. The title today is Face to Face. Exodus 33 verse 11. And the Lord spake unto Moses face to face, as a man speaketh unto his friend. After the transgression of Israel in making the golden calf, Moses again goes to plead with God in behalf of his people. He has learned from experience that in order to have an influence with the people, he must first have power with God. The Lord reads the sincerity and unselfish purpose of the heart of his servant and condescends to commune with this feeble mortal, face to face, as a man speaks with a friend. Moses casts himself and all his burdens fully upon God and freely pours out his soul before him. The Lord does not reprove his servant, but stoops to listen to his supplications. The answer comes, my presence shall go with thee, and I will give thee rest. But Moses does not feel that he can stop here. He's gained much, and he longs to come still nearer to God, to obtain a stronger assurance of his abiding presence. He has carried the burden of Israel. He has borne an overwhelming weight of responsibility. When the people sinned, he suffered keen remorse, as though he himself were guilty. And now there presses upon his soul a sense of the terrible results should God leave Israel to hardness and impenitence of heart. Moses presses his petition with such earnestness and such fervency that the answer comes, I will do this thing also that thou hast spoken, for thou hast found grace in my sight, and I know thee by name. Now, indeed, we would expect the prophet to cease pleading, but no. Emboldened by his success, he ventures to come still nearer to God with a holy familiarity which is almost beyond our comprehension. He now makes a request which no human being ever made before. I beseech thee, show me thy glory. What a petition to come from finite, mortal man. But is he repulsed? Does God reprove him for presumption? No. We hear the gracious words, I will make all my goodness pass before thee. In the history of Moses, we may see what intimate communion with God it is man's privilege to enjoy. Face to face. Imagine that. God blesses you, abundantly blesses you, he blesses you. And then you turn to him. I beseech you, Father, show me your glory. that is presumption. That is presumption to the greatest. And God says, yes, I will make my goodness pass before thee. Moses seemed to be the epitome of a humble guy, meek and lowly. As Jesus the Christ soon showed us thereafter as well. Would we know God, the God of heaven and earth? Would we know him enough to have that presumption, to approach him in such a way, let alone to actually say and make that request? And the Lord God spoke unto Moses face to face, as a man speaketh to his friend. As I'm speaking to you now, is as Moses spoke to God. Have you even tried to imagine that? How you would speak to God when you do get the opportunity to speak to him. And I'm not talking about on your knees by your bed. I'm talking about just wide-eyed, open-eyed, and just... Or would it even be like that? Or would it be through your mind's eye, meeting on a spiritual, deeply, deeply spiritual level, which has absolutely nothing to do with any of your senses? I think it's all of it. All of it. Until then, we strive to reach him.